As I talk to people interested in podcast guesting, interested in growing their brand and growing their business, there's two types of people I run into. The first ones are the ones that see the opportunity, they jump on it, they know they can figure it out. They see the opportunity and they go for it. The second type of the people are ready to go for it as soon as everything is perfect. They just have to get their website done perfectly. They have to get their office or their studio done perfectly. All of their products aren't completely done. Their website and their funnels aren't 100% and tested, and they'll do it as soon as everything gets ready. Now, which one of these are you? I'd like to say that I'm always the first one. I see the opportunity, know that I'm smart enough to figure it out, to find the right people and take a chance in the opportunity. But honestly, there's a lot of times where I'm just like, I'm scared. I'm scared. I'm going to work on other things until they're already perfect. And it frustrates me. And because I see these people, it's like, you're great. You have got a message that could help so many people. Your website, it's not perfect, but it's better than most. Your product, it's great, right? There's lots of people that would buy it right now if they only knew about you. And sitting in your office behind your computer in isolation is not going to help anybody. And I have to tell myself this, and there's a book that I go back to often. It's called Start Ugly by Chris Krimitsos. Now, if you don't know Chris is a legend. He's a legend in the podcasting space. He started PodFest. They're doing the PodFest Global Summit coming up here. It's going to set a Guinness Book of World Records for the largest summit, right? He is a legend in the networking space. He's a legend in the event space, but he didn't start out that way. It was just recently I found out that PodFest, which is now a huge event in February, there was, thousands and thousands of people down in Orlando, and now it's going to be online. Well, that started as a local community meetup in Tampa. You see, he didn't wait till everything was perfect. And I look at people like that and I'm inspired. It's like, to help people, I need to go out there. Another one that I think of is Pat Flynn. Now, if you followed podcasting for any amount of time, you've probably heard the name Pat Flynn. He's from Smart Passive Income. Huge podcast, huge community. He does everything with excellence. And back in 2017 or 18, he was awarded Podcaster of the Year. And I admire Pat so much because he shared the first podcast he ever did. And he admitted that it took him a few months to actually record the podcast. And it was a few months later before it actually even aired. And he played it when he was on the stage. And he cringed, the audience cringed. I guarantee you, it's the worst podcast interview or podcast that Pat Flynn has ever done. His voice was cracking. He seemed unsure of himself. His statements sounded more like questions, but you know what? He got better. Each time he got better. And if he would have just kept studying and thinking about it and getting ready, he wouldn't be the Pat Flynn that we love today. Same thing with PodFest and Chris Krimitsos. If he would have waited, if he wouldn't have started ugly where he was, we wouldn't have what we have today. So I implore you to. I'm saying this for myself too, to have the courage. If there's something that scares you, maybe it's a good sign that you're supposed to do it. Going on a podcast can be scary. It's recorded. Thousands of people hear it. What are they going to say? That's one of the reasons that we do our first podcast interview with all of our clients is a practice podcast interview. Because I guarantee you, the first one you do will be your worst one. It'll also be your best one, but you'll learn from it and each one will get better. So we want to give you a chance to get some feedback right on air as we're doing the interview. I do all of the practice podcast interviews myself with our clients to give you that feedback, to give you that confidence so that when you're out on Broadway there, that you know that you're there to serve. So My encouragement to you, my plea to you is really comes out of our mission at Interview Valet to personally introduce inspiring thought leaders to millions of ideal individuals they could serve for the betterment of all. What you have right now could help someone. It could help them right now where you are. So start ugly, start now, and keep getting better.